Sail away.
Welcome back, everyone. This time, we're trading city skylines for snow-capped mountains, crystal clear waters, and some of the most breathtaking scenery on Earth. That's right, we're headed to Alaska.
Off to Alaska!
For the next several days, our group will be exploring charming coastal towns, sailing past massive glaciers, and making unforgettable memories together aboard this incredible cruise. From exciting shore excursions and stunning panoramic views to great food, laughter, and a little friendly chaos that comes with traveling as a group.
There you go.
We're bringing you along for every moment of the adventure. Let's go! We just arrived at the port, dropped off our mountain of luggage, and immediately brought the energy even before stepping onto the ship. And just like that, the adventure officially begins.
Off to Alaska!
Hey, shout out to the porter who understood the assignment. He jumped right into dancing like it was part of the group the whole time.
Well, let's dance for a little while. No. You guys are gonna go this way along the wall, inside, and they're gonna direct you the whole sea for check-in. Okay.
So we are embarking on this cruise from Vancouver and officially started the boarding process for the beautiful Coral Princess. As we walked through the gangway, the excitement built up, and somehow we could already feel the vacation mode kicking in. We were finally ready to board. Then we were finally reunited with our luggages. The energy on the ship kept building by the minute. Music started playing. People gathered around the pool deck, and suddenly, Steph and Binky are making best friends with strangers. And before you knew it, Nini joined Binky like they've been rehearsing for weeks. This sail away party got vacation mode fully activated.
And sail away. We're sailing away.
Meanwhile, Vancouver was giving us one last beautiful view before we officially sailed away toward Alaska. Designed specifically for scenic voyages like this, the Coral Princess felt right at home in Alaska. With expansive promenade decks, panoramic lounges, and countless places to take in the views, it seems as though this ship was built with scenery in mind. Once we got on board, it officially became a mission to explore every corner of the ship before getting lost, which, for some of us, happened almost immediately. 1 minute we were trying to figure out where our rooms were, the next minute, drinks started appearing out of nowhere. Now, I'm not saying that the free booze samples were strong, but judging by Steph's walk, they were definitely working. And suddenly, everyone was holding colorful drinks, making toasts, taking photos, and walking around the ship like cruise professionals. Even though half of us still didn't know which elevator to take.
Down
And this was Good Spirits at Sea, which served amazing cocktails on board. Of course, nobody could remember the actual names of their drinks. We just ordered based on how good they look. A few drinks later, the energy level on this ship changed completely. At this point, nobody cared who was watching. Vacation confidence was at an all-time high. But this is exactly what group trips are all about. Laughing too hard, dancing too much, and making memories nobody's going to let each other forget. The music got louder, the dance floor got crowded, and suddenly the ladies are out there dancing and moving like Jagger, as we called it a night. Meanwhile, as Steph and I woke up the next morning, and wow, as I looked out the balcony, watching the ship glide across the water, everything felt peaceful. For about 5 minutes until the group chat started asking where everyone's meeting for breakfast. Well, it was a unanimous decision. We all met at Horizon Court and managed to snag one of the best tables in the house, right by the window, overlooking the endless sea. With our appetites fully satisfied, we figured it was time to learn something. So naturally, we headed to the cocktail demonstration, because just when we thought Nini had reached her peak, she unlocked a whole new level. And where there's alcohol, there is dancing, because if there's one thing we've learned so far, it's that on a cruise, drinking and dancing go together like glaciers in Alaska. And look at Paolo's face. That's not just happiness. That's the smile of a husband thinking, yep, that's my wife. We watched the bartenders effortlessly pour cocktails set on their foreheads. Mix colorful drinks and make it all look way easier than it probably is. And of course, the best part wasn't just watching, it was the tasting. Because let's be honest, nobody signs up for a cocktail demo just to take notes. Some people came for the bartending demonstration, Yvette came for quality control. That freshly made cocktail didn't stand a chance.
It's grapefruit. Oh, I can't have grapefruit. I don't know if it's grapefruit, but it's...
And if you thought Yvette was going to enjoy that freshly made cocktail all by herself, think again. Because Binky wasn't about to let that happen. At this point, it wasn't a cocktail demonstration anymore. It was a scavenger hunt. And these two had mastered the art. After all the dancing, cocktail tasting, and showing off our best cruise moves, we figured it was time to class things up a bit. So we traded cocktails for teacups and headed to afternoon tea. Because on a cruise, there's always room for afternoon tea, even if breakfast ended just an hour ago. One thing you'll quickly notice on cruise ships is just how many amazing Filipino crew members there are. And Princess is no different. They're everywhere, running the restaurants, greeting guests, keeping the ship spotless and somehow always smiling no matter how busy they are. And if you're Filipino, there's an unwritten rule. Sooner or later, you'll find each other. Word somehow reached the executive sous chef and the sous chef that there was a loud, happy Filipino group sailing on board. The next thing we knew, they had prepared something extra special just for us. Kare-kare for dinner and sinigang for lunch on the next day.
Right after the so let me know next time when you come here for dinner, yeah? Oh, wow. Right. Enjoy, yeah?
And just when we thought dinner couldn't get any better, dessert arrived. First came the creme brulee with that perfectly caramelized sugar on top, and then banana foster. Warm bananas, rich buttery caramel sauce, creamy vanilla ice cream, basically a dessert that politely says your diet can resume after the cruise. The next morning, we woke up, went straight to the balcony, slid the door open, took a deep breath, and there it was, our very first port of call. But of course, the peace and serenity lasted about 30 seconds because someone in the group was already texting everyone to hurry up and get ready. Welcome to Ketchikan, where the scenery is breathtaking, the adventure is just beginning, and somehow we're already running late. With breakfast conquered and everyone finally accounted for, we stepped off the ship and officially set foot in Alaska. Our destination, the famous Creek Street. Now, according to the map, it wasn't a very long walk, but according to our group, it was a photo stop every 20 feet. Eventually, after approximately 437 photos, we finally made it to Creek Street. One of the highlights of Creek Street is the famous Salmon Ladder, where thousands of salmon make the incredible journey upstream every year. So naturally, we rushed over, cameras ready, hoping to witness this amazing spectacle. And what do we see? Nothing but water. Not a single salmon in sight. Turns out we came a little too early. It was May, and the salmon apparently hadn't RSVP'd yet. They don't usually start arriving until late in the summer. So instead of watching salmon fight their way upstream, we watched the water and used our imagination. But that's okay. Alaska still delivered incredible scenery, and unlike the salmon, we actually showed up on time. We stared into the water long enough that we started convincing ourselves that we think we saw a salmon. But nope, it was just another leaf. The only thing climbing that ladder today was our own disappointment. But hey, that's travel. Sometimes you see majestic wildlife, and sometimes you just see the place where majestic wildlife will eventually be. Now, while the actual salmon were nowhere to be found, Steph wasn't about to leave Ketchikan without some kind of salmon experience. If the salmon wouldn't come to us, she'd just eat them instead. So there she was, bravely sampling salmon jerky with a side of salmon spread. At first glance, Creek Street feels like you've stepped into a postcard. Colorful wooden buildings perched on stilts line the creek, connected by charming boardwalks that seem to float above the water. Back in the early 1900s, Creek Street was Ketchikan's lively red light district. Today, it's a quaint waterfront filled with local shops, art galleries, cafes, and plenty of Alaskan character.
Confirm that. Confirm.
As we strolled along the weathered boardwalk, every turn offered something worthy of a photo. If you're lucky enough to visit later in the summer, you might even catch salmon swimming upstream and bears waiting for an easy meal. Because while Alaska is famous for glaciers, whales, and bears, sometimes the most unforgettable wildlife encounter is a tiny husky puppy stealing everyone's heart.
Right?
Even without the salmon, Ketchikan has a charm that's hard to describe. It's peaceful, colorful, full of history, and one of those places you can't help but stop every few steps for just one more picture. It's easy to see why Creek Street is one of the most photographed spots in all of Alaska. And after spending a little time here, we completely understood why. After exploring Creek Street, we worked up quite an appetite. Our first choice was the famous Alaska Fish House, but one look at the line and we knew we'd be spending more time waiting than eating. So we made our way to one of Ketchikan's seafood spots, Crab and Go. And we learned something pretty cool. The owners of the restaurant also owned one of the commercial fishing boats featured on Deadliest Catch Season 2.
What you getting, Yvette?
I love chocolates, but there's so much chocolate in the room.
Okay. So yes, I'm gonna take the ducks and this. Because I've been craving this.
With one last look at Ketchikan's waterfront pier, we climbed back aboard, already wondering what adventures tomorrow's port would bring. One stop down, plenty more unforgettable memories to go. As the afternoon came to a close, it was time to bid farewell to our first Alaskan port. And of course, Steph and I stood out there on our balcony pretending to soak in the breathtaking scenery while secretly wondering what tonight's dinner menu was. With some time to kill before dinner, Steph and I made the only logical decision.
Demo, that Milky Way was so good. That grapefruit one was so good too.
We volunteered to hold a fort at Good Spirits Bar. Meanwhile, we were conducting important cruise research, like determining whether cocktails taste better with an ocean view. After extensive testing, we can confidently report they absolutely do. And of course, Yvette arrived fashionably late and wasn't about to quietly order just any drink. She immediately stole the spotlight with her Milky Way cocktail. And after a few drinks, there's a silent disco the girls were completely invested in. Steph was dancing with complete confidence. Yvette danced like she was the headliner of a sold-out concert. Nini added moves that aren't part of any known dance routine. And Binky just decided every song deserved its own signature choreography. Because from the outside, they absolutely looked ridiculous. Everyone was fully committed, headphones on, arms out, hips swinging, and absolutely no idea they were all dancing to the same glorious, cheesy anthem. One person was hitting every move like it was a championship routine, while the rest of us were trying not to laugh so hard we missed the next "Hey Macarena." The next morning, we grabbed breakfast by the window. As we sipped our coffee, something incredible started to appear in the distance. And there it was, Juneau. The towering mountains slowly emerged through the morning mist, surrounded by calm waters that looked almost too perfect to be real. And for a few moments, even our table got unusually quiet. We were all too busy soaking in the view. Well, almost everyone. Someone was still more focused on their phone and how much tip we should leave. There's something magical about arriving at a new port by sea. You don't just pull into town, you watch it slowly reveal itself, one mountain, one shoreline, and one port at a time. Juneau. Do you know that we're in Juneau? Juneau welcomed us outside our balcony. It felt like the perfect way to start another day in Alaska. With breakfast finished and our cameras fully charged, it was time to head for one of Alaska's most famous natural wonders, the Mendenhall Glacier.
1 mile deep, it's one of 34 glaciers coming off of the ice field.
The drive was beautiful, but nothing quite prepares you for that first glimpse. Of course, no group trip is complete without the mandatory debate, who's taking the picture. It's hard to believe you're looking at something that's been forming for thousands of years. That crisp mountain air and the sheer size of it all remind you just how spectacular nature can be. So we booked this excursion through Princess, where a bus dropped us off at the visitor center of Mendenhall Glacier. From there, we hiked about a mile on this pathway through this lush green forest to see one of Juneau's most famous waterfalls. Our next stop, Nugget Falls, a 1-mile walk that everyone confidently described as easy. 20 minutes later, and we're still walking. Then, as we rounded the final bend, there it was, Nugget Falls. It's a massive waterfall crashing down beside the glacier, with mist filling the air and the sound of rushing water echoing through the valley. With one final glance at the glacier and the falls, we headed back to the bus. So we walked 1 mile in and 1 mile out, 2 miles total. Grateful for the experience, thankful for the views, and already excited for whatever Alaska had in store next. And all that walking was totally worth it, especially when we'd be earning room for lunch. We headed back into downtown Juneau and made our way to one of the city's most iconic spots, the Red Dog Saloon. The moment we walked through those swinging doors, it felt like we'd stepped back into Alaska's Gold Rush days. Rustic wooden floors covered in sawdust, old-time decor, lively music, and enough character to fill the entire room. We found our tables, kicked back, and rewarded ourselves with hearty comfort food after our trek to Nugget Falls and the Mendenhall Glacier.
Thanks for coming by. I found out the reason people don't laugh anymore is they just worry about all the bullshit going on, folks. Let me tell you something. Think of it this way. Don't worry about a thing. Have some fun, but nothing's gonna be all right. Okay? Nothing.
With that advice, it was a perfect way to recharge before continuing our Juneau adventure. Good food, good company, and just enough Old West charm to make us feel like we'd earned our place in Alaska.
In 50 feet, turn right to stay on Juneau Seawalk. Turn right to stay on Juneau Seawalk.
With our bellies full and our energy restored, it was time to burn off at least 3 bites of lunch. Our next stop was the famous bronze whale statue overlooking the Juneau waterfront.
Babe,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Alaska wilderness.
We're going to John's famous whale. Not Juneau's, John's famous whale.
When we finally reached the statue, it was easy to see why it's one of Juneau's most photographed landmarks. A magnificent humpback whale appeared to be bursting out of the water, frozen forever in a dramatic breach. Naturally, we did what every tourist before us had done. We immediately started posing. The whale never moved an inch, but somehow it still managed to become one of the highlights of our day. As we wandered through downtown Juneau, something magical happened, like a beacon calling every Filipino within a 5-mile radius. We spotted a Filipino pop-up barbecue stand. The smell of grilled pork, smoky hot dog, and that sweet caramelized turon hit us instantly. It didn't matter that we had just eaten. This wasn't about hunger anymore. It was about answering the call of Filipino barbecue. Only a group could travel all the way to Alaska and somehow end up happily eating Filipino barbecue in the middle of downtown Juneau. Proof that no matter where in the world you go, if there's Filipino barbecue nearby, we'll find it. With one last glance at the mountains, we stepped back aboard the Coral Princess, ready to sail towards our next Alaskan adventure. So goodbye, Juneau. You've been glacier than we expected. The next morning, I slid open the balcony door and was instantly greeted by the cool, crisp air of Skagway. One deep breath and it felt like Mother Nature had turned the air conditioner all the way down. Outside, the mountains stood tall around the harbor. The town was just beginning to wake up, and everything looked so peaceful it almost didn't seem real. With Skagway waiting just outside our balcony and another day of adventure ahead, there was only one thing left to do. Grab breakfast, because let's face it, no adventure in our group ever starts with an empty stomach.
Bye.
After fueling up with breakfast, it was time to step off the ship and begin what many consider the must-do experience in Skagway, the legendary White Pass and Yukon Route Railway.
Hello.
15 and 20 feet every 6 hours. A great day visiting us here in Skagway, and have fun.
Where y'all coming in from?
California. We climbed into our vintage rail car. The excitement was building. Cameras were ready. Jackets were zipped up, and everyone was secretly hoping to snag a window seat.
Dropped the tickets off, and I was the only one collecting tickets. So I got back. I said, all right, because she's out of all right, let's take a picture.
We'll be walking through here along the ride all day long today. So if you have any questions at all along the ride, please just let me know. Now we do have some complimentary water up in the front and in the back there. Help yourself, drink as much as you need. And if you drink too much of that water, we have a bathroom right up in the front. I'm so excited about the bathroom.
You just don't know.
Trust me, I do know. But folks, you may have gotten a copy of that All Aboard magazine on your seat. If not, or you would like more, there is more right up front here, okay?
We settled into our seats, and before long, the train slowly pulled away from Skagway, beginning an unforgettable climb through the towering mountains, dramatic cliffs, waterfalls, and breathtaking Alaskan wilderness. As incredible as the views were from inside the train, we decided that looking through a window just wasn't enough. So we ventured out onto the open-air observation platform between the rail cars. And of course, with the usual goofiness. This isn't just any train ride, it's a journey through history, following the same route carved into the mountains during the Klondike Gold Rush over a century ago. As the train continued its climb through the White Pass, another breathtaking sight came into view: Bridal Veil Falls. True to its name, the waterfall cascaded gracefully down the mountainside like a delicate white bridal veil draped over the rugged cliffs. And this sight looked like something straight out of a model train exhibit, except this was real life and we're living it.
They are the tallest mountains in this area, ranging about 7,000 feet. And they still have their pointy peaks because they were above the glacial line.
Photos and videos can capture the view, but they can never capture the feeling of actually being there. It made me realize how small we are compared to these mountains that have stood here for thousands of years, watching generations of travelers pass by. I wasn't looking at the scenery, I was soaking it in, trying to memorize every snow-covered peak, every winding valley, and every moment of pure wonder. As we rounded each curve, the tracks hugged impossibly steep cliffs, revealing breathtaking views of deep valleys below. As the train continued its climb through the White Pass, I silently thanked Alaska for reminding me that the most breathtaking views in life aren't always found on a screen. They're the ones that leave you speechless.
Look at the bridge.
One of the most fascinating sights along the route was the remains of the original wooden bridge that once carried trains across the rugged mountain pass. Today, the broken bridge stands as a silent reminder of the railway's incredible history and the determination of the people who built it under some of the harshest conditions imaginable. Turquoise rivers carve their way through the valley, fed by melting glaciers that have shaped this landscape for thousands of years. The farther we climbed, the quieter the world seemed to become. There were no highways, no buildings, no signs of city life, just endless wilderness stretching as far as the eye could see. Some places make you want to take pictures. Places like this make you want to put the camera down for a moment and simply be present. But not me. My camera was working overtime. Because let's be honest, if I don't capture it on video, did I even go?
Thank you. Good
I'm
job.
just coming through real quick to say thanks for riding our train. If you guys weren't here, we wouldn't get to have this awesome job, so I do hope you all enjoyed it. Other than that, have a nice rest of your time here in Skagway and the rest of your time on vacation. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Please, no paparazzi.
As our unforgettable journey on the White Pass and Yukon route came to an end, we stepped off the train with a newfound appreciation for the pioneers who once traveled these mountains. It wasn't just a train ride, it was a front row seat to some of the most breathtaking scenery Alaska has to offer. Every mile reminded us why this railway has remained one of Alaska's most iconic experiences. As much as we hated to leave the train, another adventure was waiting just outside the station. We traded railroad tracks for sidewalks and set off to explore the charming Gold Rush town of Skagway. But before we explored Skagway, there was one very important item on the itinerary: lunch. As we enjoyed one more meal together, we knew this was where our group would temporarily split up. Some of us were about to head off for an unforgettable dog sledding adventure, while Steph and I continued exploring the historic streets of Skagway at a slightly more relaxed pace.
Skagway.
Walking through downtown Skagway feels like strolling onto a set of an old Western movie. Colorful wooden storefronts line the streets. False front buildings stand proudly as they did during the Klondike Gold Rush. The sidewalks are made of weathered wooden boardwalks. The mountains rise dramatically behind the town. Make it easy to imagine what life was like back in 1898. And nearly every corner has a story waiting to be told. Over a century ago, these same streets were packed with fortune seekers chasing dreams of striking gold. Despite its rich history, Skagway has a relaxed, welcoming charm. You can wander into quirky gift shops, local outfitters, cozy cafes and museums, all within just a few blocks. Then Steph and I caught up with the rest of the gang after their dog sledding adventure. And before we could even ask how it went, they were already telling us everything.
Hi, cutie. Hi, cutie.
I know they do. Oh my God.
All I'm doing back. You did a good job. Thank you for giving us the ride.
The excitement was contagious. You could tell they hadn't just enjoyed the experience, they'd completely fallen in love with those hard-working sled dogs. Skagway gave us everything: breathtaking mountain views, an unforgettable train ride, fascinating Gold Rush history, adorable sled dogs, and another incredible port, another unforgettable day, and another reminder that the best souvenir from any trip isn't what you buy, it's the stories you bring home. One by one, we climbed back aboard the Coral Princess, carrying a few souvenirs, a lot of memories, and probably several thousand photos we'll spend the next year trying to organize.
Hello.
Just as we thought dinner had officially defeated us, our Filipino crew friends had one more surprise waiting. Out came slices of homemade Sansrival. Each bite of buttery cashew meringue, creamy buttercream, and crunchy layers tasted like a little piece of home, served in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness. Our Filipino crew had gone out of their way to prepare this special treat just for us, and it wasn't just the dessert that made it unforgettable. It was the thoughtfulness behind it. Before Steph and I called it a night, we stepped out onto our balcony for one last look at Alaska. The sun had dipped below the horizon, but this was Alaska, where the day wasn't quite ready to end. The sky glowed with shades of white and gray, reflecting off the calm water like a painting that stretched to the horizon. A soft twilight blanketed the landscape as the ship quietly sailed past towering mountain silhouettes.
What do you think?
So pretty.
The only sounds were the gentle hum of the ship and the occasional breeze drifting across the balcony. It was peaceful, almost magical. It was one of those rare moments that reminded us why we travel, not just to see beautiful places, but to slow down long enough to truly appreciate them. But we're not done yet. Join us in part 2, where we sail through the breathtaking waters of Glacier Bay and College Fjord. Trust us, if you thought the views so far were incredible, the best is still yet to come. We'll see you in part 2.